Hey y'all, this is Glenn Kaiser from Resurrection Band, Glenn Kaiser Band. Well, heck, it's just me. It's Glenn Kaiser. You're listening to classic Christian rock. Steve Perkins and Wildman, you guys are crazy. I love you. And by the way, if you're listening today, turn it up.
Yeah, and I thought that the backing vocals from Minnie Pearl were an added touch.
It's so good to hear Minnie coming back into the scene. I mean, she'd taken a few years off. There's that little heroin situation. And you know what? We're not going to fault her for that. The fact is she got herself clean, and she's coming back. She's just doing some background vocals, like you said. But, it's good to have her back on the metal circuit.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, Wildman here. I do not associate myself with the last 30 seconds of whatever was just spewed out of my co-host's mouth.
And this is Steve Perkins, and I didn't even say any of that. I don't know what he's talking about. That was somebody else. That was not me. That was not I.
Very good. So, Steve, Kingdom Come Festival. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, you're going to be hearing several interviews. You're going to be hearing several interviews because Steve and I had the opportunity to attend the Kingdom Come Festival, and we hope you enjoy the interviews that we share.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are continuing to broadcast on site at the Kingdom Come Festival. Steve, this has been one incredible time, and instead of just doing what we normally do, I'm just going to just put it out there. What segue do you have for our guests right now? Because you are Mr. Segue, so give us the nice segue, lead-in approach to this interview.
It's hardly a segue if you tell me to make a segue. All I'm going to say is it's a beautiful day. We've had some rain, but honestly, the day feels like it's kind of gotten away from me a little bit, and I don't know. It's kind of a little bit late, and I'm wondering if there's any way for me to reclaim the day.
That's interesting that you bring that up, because it just so happens, you probably didn't realize this, but we have right now in our studio.
You mean under this tent?
No, that studio. We call it a studio. We have right now in our studio, Reclaim the Day. The band is with us.
No, seriously,
yes,
fantastic.
Absolutely. You hear that applause out there. So each member of the band that is with us here, could you tell us who you are and what you do for the band, please?
I am Marcus Sugg. I am the lead guitarist and husband to the singer.
Well, that leads to me, I guess. I'm Becca Sugg. I am the lead singer, and I also play some guitar every now and then,
Logan Morehouse. I'm the bass player.
That's great. So, how would you describe your style, the music style that your band puts out there?
You want me to say it, or?
Go for it, yeah. Death metal.
No, not death metal. Honestly, so when I get this question, it's kind of like we're in the midst of really kind of, it's really what God lays on our heart, or what style, because we started off with like a kind of we released a single last year called Who You Are with Josiah Prince from Disciple. He produced it.
That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. And we started off as a hard worship kind of style, but we're moving we're still doing kind of that worship, like the hard rock, but we're also having some of these harder songs that have breakdowns and more screaming and all that stuff.
More technical structure.
Yeah, more technical structure. So it varies from like hard rock to in between to worship. Really, it's what the songs that that God really lays on our heart. So it just kind of comes out.
Oh, that's cool. I've got to be honest. You got my attention when you said hard worship. Now listen, I can worship with anything. I can worship. I love the old hymns. Actually,
yes,
I love it. They're powerful. There's good music, and then
you gotta respect the classics.
Oh, absolutely, and the lyrics are just fantastic,
profound.
But
plus you're old, Steve.
Plus I am old. And
notice I didn't say we, ladies and gentlemen.
Topic for another time. But there are times when I'm thinking, man, I'd love to have some worship. But, crank to 11, right?
Yes.
I want a wall of marshals behind this thing, so...
Please.
So, yeah, that sounds really good to me. And I know where you're going to go with this, or your answer, I think. But Wildman and I have said this many times. we think that rock and metal, really, those are the genres best suited for praising God or communicating the gospel, because this is a message that everybody needs to hear, needs to go out to the rest of the world. It's exciting, it's powerful, it's wonderful, it's energetic. I'm going, well, that's rock and metal. Right? So to me, that goes, do you guys think the same way on that?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's very loud and aggressive, but about all the right things, you know?
Yeah.
Plus, it's a very raw and just heartfelt thing, especially, when you're more like the metal side of things, because maybe sometimes it's not quite as structured. I like the more technical stuff myself. But it's very in your face, but honestly, the Bible's very in your face. And God's love is a lot louder than anything that we know. So, I mean, heck, you're not wrong. That's probably like the perfect genre to go for. You want to just yell it out there in everyone's faces. Hey,
emphasis.
He loves you.
Oh yeah, and the emphasis
Can you hear
on
me?
the screaming. When I do screams, it's like on those moments where you really feel like you want the audience to really incorporate what you're trying to say on those parts. It's like
It's heartfelt.
It's heartfelt, Yeah, it's like, for example, our song "Who You Are" that we did. I keep going back to that, but that's the only song we have out. But I don't want to give too much away. Yeah, I don't want to give too much away because right now we're in the studio and we're so excited about the stuff that we are working on and getting ready for our EP and to release. Like I go back to it. I scream on "Who You Are." It's an emphasis to really that moment. I want God to show me more of who He is, and that's really the worship part.
It's like a cry of passion, and God's love is incredibly passionate, so it just kind of makes sense.
Some people are like, I can't understand a word you're saying. Some people are like, wow, that really spoke to me, So.
Just a curious question here, because we're rock and metal fans, obviously, and I played in bands years ago, and then played in amateur bands and so forth back in the classic rock metal sound.
Oh, you mean, are you saying you're old?
No, of course not. I prefer the term mature. So you mentioned the screams, okay? And the screams is something that is continually taking on now, and it seems like that is where the direction metal has gone. And we had screams, before, but they were more the high octane vocal vibrato screams. So just curious, what does a vocalist have to do to take care of their voice to do screams like this?
Excellent question.
Well, you talked about your classic screams that you're talking about. I was actually raised on classic rock music. My favorite band is actually Heart. That's the band that inspired me to play guitar and pick up a guitar and do music. I feel old sometimes, I might be only 25, but my parents raised me right, so
there you go.
they raised me. So when he talks about, that's funny when you said that, because when my dad talked about screams, he knows, he's like, I used to scream too, and that's the kind of screams that he was talking about, the high octane.
I just don't have the range
and
for
everything.
it.
But nowadays it's more, it's dependent on what screams you do. When I first started screaming, I'll be honest with you, I had no idea what I was doing.
I still don't.
I got thrown into it. I started doing music professionally in 2011. And I became a vocalist after playing guitar for this band. And we lost all our scream vocalists, and I was like, all right, I guess I'm going to learn. So I YouTubed it up, and I learned inhales, which are not good for your vocals, but unless you really do them the right way. But recently, I did exhale screams. And I've really picked it up over the last couple years and been working on that. But then watched a video that a lot of screamers have watched and called the Zen of Screaming. And it's a very, very unique video that'll not just for singers, but screamers too, obviously.
Yeah, for the sake of how to do it without damaging your vocal cords and stuff there. So using your diaphragm to push from there without straining your neck too much.
That's the biggest thing.
Just a little technical aspects.
Something I do for show days is I don't drink soda at all. It's something like until after. And the sad thing is I'm a soda addict, and I'll admit that. So it's really hard for me. I'll sit there. I can't believe I'm admitting this over an interview, but I am.
Take no world, she said it.
And if my former vocal coach, I haven't had a lesson in a while, but if she heard this, she was probably like, "No, you're supposed to be drinking a couple of those glasses a day." but that's a big thing. A lot of water is a good thing, but diaphragm. The biggest thing for me is that as a vocalist, even singing, don't do it from your throat. And that will really damage your cords, and you have to kind of just, especially if you go on tour and do it many times in a row, like a 3-day run, and then
that's rough.
It's you've got to actually like rest your vocals. Don't talk as much. If you have to talk, do it, but don't talk. So there's a lot of things that come into play. So.
Yeah. So, quick question I got for you guys. So, what does the rest of 2020 heading into 2021 look like for you guys in terms of whether it's gigging, recording, putting out material? What are you into? What are you about to do?
So, did you want to? I don't know if you want to take this one, or Logan. You haven't talked at all.
Okay, sure. Yeah.
Let's bring the bass player in now. Let's hear what the bass player's got to say.
I'll give the real story.
Well, we have some upcoming shows in August. August 8th. Is that right?
Yeah, August 8th. Yep.
That one's in Lima, Ohio. And then the 9th, we are doing a fundraiser worship night at the Point Church in Greenwood to raise funds for our upcoming EP.
Yeah. Good job, Logan. No, we have, like you said, we had a couple shows coming up. We'll be at Pit Fest 2020, which is
forgot to mention that one.
Yeah, no, you're good. A1M, which is putting on KCF right now, Kingdom Come Fest.
KFC.
KFC, yeah. Right. Everybody gets us confused. I love all the guys in A1M. They've been close friends of mine for years, and Chris, Jay, Angie, all of those guys are amazing people. I always tell Chris, I'm getting off in tangent. I always talk. And I always tell them that, their ministry has affected so many people with these events. So, man, it's so crazy. But, they're doing Pit Fest, and they invited us back this year, and I'll be emceeing, returning as the MC. So we're excited to come back.
It's definitely an honor to get to partner with their ministry. It's awesome getting to see how God uses them each and every year, even when it looks like there won't be the funds for it. He always provides a way. I mean, he's the provider. He's done many things like that in our lives as well, where it looks like, by our understanding, it's never going to work out, but he's God. He doesn't care what, finances are and all that stuff there. He wants it to happen. He'll make it happen. And
absolutely.
He's done it over and over and over again and used it to minister to many, many people, and I believe he'll continue to do so.
Yeah, and the best thing for us right now is that we're in the studio a lot. Yes. So right now we are going back to the studio to work on our EP. Andrew Stanton and Josiah Prince from Disciple, they are co-producing our music, and we've got a couple people mixing masters for us, and we've got a great team working on this EP to really get it out either late this year or next year. We're trying to get it out as soon as possible. So
anybody who's interested in Reclaim the Day, where should they go to find you?
They can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, anywhere. You'll find us. We're
all your major music streaming platforms.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
Like I said, we have one song out that's officially released right now, and it's our single "Who You Are." You can check that on any streaming platform. But as far as our actual social media, you'll be able to find us anywhere else. So that we'd love for you guys to come follow. Obviously, it's been a tough time. I know everybody's been saying, this enough lately because of COVID, but so we're not doing too much, but we are still trying to get back out there, get in the studio, we still are having shows, hopefully in August, fingers crossed, but and it's going to be an amazing time. So things are picking up, God willing. So
thank you for reminding us to reclaim the day.
We're hot.
All right. right, so we are continuing our live episodes here, live on site at the Kingdom Come Festival. This has been an exciting time, hasn't it, Steve?
You know, it has been an exciting time, although I have to admit, there are times I felt like I was getting robbed.
Really?
Yes, I did. I actually felt like I was getting robbed.